Cheers for coming, everyone. People are still coming. So I guess I don't need to tell anyone here that there's a housing crisis in Galway and Ireland generally. Like in Galway, rents are up on average 16% over the last year, and homelessness rose by 10% in the first 3 months of this year. So, I mean, what should be happening is that the state should set up a public construction company to build public housing on public land that we already own. That's what should be happening. The bare minimum is that private housing that's being built, like in here, should be available for ordinary people to buy or trying to buy a house. And, not sold off in bulk to international investment funds. But I mean, instead we have policy sort of dictated by and for developers and implemented by Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Greens, Labour before them, and certain independents like Galway West and Old Grealish, who 2 weeks ago voted for a new tax break for cuckoo funds. And Old Grealish was the only so-called opposition TD who voted for this new tax break for the last week. I think it's important we remember that, like, when it comes to the next election. And the other thing is that this is literally government policy that likes this. There's public money being invested into the financial backer of this development here through a state investment trust. So it really is government policy that's having a crisis. It's not an accident. But I mean, there is hope. Like, we take hope from a place called Mullen Park in Maynooth, County Kildare, where there was 115 homes being built, and they were meant to, like this, be sold off in bulk to a cuckoo fund. But public, outcry, like we're trying to start here today, has turned that around and has gotten assurances that all of the 115 homes there are going to be sold to individual buyers. They're not going to be sold off to an investment trust. So I mean, there is hope. We have to organise and fight back, and we started this here today. Like, I wouldn't be at all, downhearted that there isn't like 200 people here or anything. No one expects that, really. I don't think. We have to start small and build something. And I would compare it to the water charges, which started off with small local demonstrations and built into a national movement, and was successful. Like, that's how we can win, through people power, and that's what we have to do on the housing crisis. And we're starting here today with this. There will be a national day of action on housing on the 11th of September, and we'll be involved in organising a demonstration in Galway as part of that. There'll be details. Keep an eye on our social media, and hopefully social media and that. We've got details on that. And as well, the National Homeless Housing Coalition has called a national protest on September 15th outside the Dáil, and we'll be encouraging people to go and have a look at that as well. And I suppose what we're calling for is, one of the things we're calling for is vulture and cuckoo funds, such as the one that's going to be taking over the homes in here behind us, to be entirely banned from the housing sector in Ireland. And that has been done in New Zealand. It's perfectly possible to do if the political will is there. So we just need a uprising, a movement of people power to force them into doing these things. But the establishment, the parties who are named who cause this housing crisis, aren't going to end it unless they're forced into it through, popular movements, protest movements like this around the country. So I would encourage people to, come along to future housing protests and demonstrations and meetings and so on in Galway and nationally if possible, to try and grow this movement. I mean, yes, it's very important that these 300 homes here behind us, a huge amount of homes, aren't given away to a cuckoo fund, but also very important that we fight back against the broader housing crisis. This is just one example of it. It's one very good example of the awful housing crisis around the country. So yeah, if anyone else would like to say anything, I thought we'd have a megaphone but it stopped working, please feel free. And otherwise we'll get a group picture if that's okay with people. Cheers.